Welcome. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with Laura West about her new program, Whispers and Wave. And the whole point of this conversation in public is to give you an insider look into this new intuition program that Laura is bringing out into the world. So before we jump into that, I just want to tell you who you're listening to or who you're hearing from. My name's Carrie Dobson, and I'm a group program architect, and I help authors and coaches and other experts design and lead impactful, profitable, and repeatable group programs. And I had the lovely, lovely blessing of being able to help support Laura as she was putting some of the final pieces to this Whisper and Wave program together. And as we were talking about it, we realized this is something we want to show people behind the scenes around. So, Laura, why don't you kick us off telling us first a little bit about who you are and what you do in the world?
Well, I'm super excited to be here with you. I just love you and what you're up to in the world. I just have to give a little plug. You've had a profound impact as the group architect and consultant advisor for my group programs. And so big thumbs up on that. I truly appreciate you. For me, I am the founder of Joyful Business, joyfulbusiness.com. And yeah, I've been doing this coaching thing for a long time, working with change makers, leaders, coaches, healers of all types who are making a positive difference in the world.
What I love about the work you do and how long you've been doing it for is that when you find something that's really needed in the world, it's not just a little inkling. It's, blaring that it's time. And I feel like Whispers and Waves is a little bit of this too, is the work that you've been doing with your clients and the programs that you have. There's just been this request for something a little different, something around intuition. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about Whispers and Wave and kind of how it came to be?
Yeah, you're so right on. I use my intuition in my business all the time. And so I'm always listening for um, what's in the community, what's in the soul tribe, what's being asked, sometimes really outright, where people have been saying, Laura, can you teach me intuition to access my intuition more? And then there's so much going in the world, going on in the world where we can't trust our external advisors anymore, whether it's the news and social media, even just pictures or videos, like we really can't tell what's real or not. And we know that's just going to continue to happen more and more, where we're not going to be able to tell what the real truth is. And so I'm seeing that one of the number one essential skills for the future is to be able to develop our sense of what our intuition is. What is it like for us? What is guidance and wisdom that comes to us that speaks our truth is going to be essential. It's going to be so necessary. And to learn how to use that and really trust it so that we're not doing it from a place of a hijacked nervous system that just is in fear and says, no, don't do it, right? But from really developing that relationship with your intuition um, from a sense of what's really right and true and aligned for you. Yeah.
I love that. And listen, anytime we have a group that is in response to what people are asking for, those are always signals for us to keep
Right.
going because those are the best groups to get out there. Remember when you asked for, here it is, right? So
Yes.
I just want to point that out, that idea that when people are asking for it.
Right. Well, and as you know, I do quantum human design, and so my design is a projector, and my strategy for being successful as a projector is to listen for recognition, listen for invitations. And so it's kind of like a backward invitation. It's like, Laura, will you please teach us how to use our intuition, right? So it's perfect.
It is perfect. I love it. So, how about we talk a tiny bit about what intuition means and kind of what you've seen it do in your life, but also in the businesses and the projects that the people that you support are looking at and are doing out in the world?
To me, it always starts internally. And I am somebody who's hugely empathic, hugely aware of the energy that's in the space and the world inside me. I have learned over the years out of necessity, because it's either going to overwhelm me and confuse me, or I started making friends with it and started learning, all right, how does this energy work? What is mine? What is not mine? And so I started learning to work with energy. And to me, my energy is that first part of how do you access your intuition, right? Because it's like when you calm your nervous system down, when you understand what's your energy and what's, the world energy or somebody else's energy, you can then start to access your intuition at a deeper level. And so that's where it really started for me, out of necessity of being highly anxious and realizing, oh, this anxiety is coming from all of outside there, and then the stories that I make up about it. And so once I started calming my nervous system down, I was able to access my guidance, my intuition at a much higher level. I've used my intuition all the time with my clients because I am so empathic. It's like I can clue in to what they're saying and what they're not saying, what the energy is when the energy pulls back. I can just feel when there's friction and it's not in alignment with my clients. And so then I speak to that, and then they're just like, wow, how did you know? And so that's where it really started, is just really being intuitive with my clients for what's going on in their world. And then I have this kind of sixth sense about, is what they're saying in their vision or their project or their idea really in alignment with their authentic self? And I can just feel it, if it's like in alignment, not in alignment, should they move forward, not move forward? And that's where we get really curious about with their, um, with what they're up to. And then I started using it more and more in my business of working with my projects, working with my business, dialoguing with my business, dialoguing with my projects. And that's how I create everything.
I love that, right?
Yeah.
It's that idea of, it started within, it started working with your clients, and then your clients started saying, and teach me this part, right? Like so that I don't always have to, call the Laura hotline to get
Uh-huh.
that support, but really trusting in themselves and developing their own intuition. And so as we think about this group, I would love for you to tell us, who do you see this group being for? Like, who are you inviting in to this group?
Well, I'm inviting in people who are change makers, who are leaders, who, the coaches, speakers, authors, creators, healers who want to make a difference in the world, but they also are highly, what I call highly attuned. And highly attuned means you have some level of high creativity, high sensitivity, high empathy, you might already have a high sense of intuition. Um, I know clients who have a high sense of intuition, but maybe they've gone through a rocky time, or this world it's in such disruption is interrupting their intuition, their access to their intuition. And so they're needing a refresher or something to help ground them in the practices. So it is both for people who are um, newer to intuition, or people who maybe have lost their way and they want to expand their intuition more. But they're really interested in having daily practices, getting curious, making it real, not just, oh, yeah, I have great intuition, but not knowing how they truly access it. So, two of the big pieces are, we're going to be practicing so that you really get that. And then also really developing that trust so that you can rely on it.
And I think that is the power of this program as we've kind of talked through what it looks like and the pieces of it. One is that safe place to practice, right? Because so many times we might read something, we might be in a group and we might be like, "Ooh, I really want to try it," but it's like, "Ooh, is it safe? Can I be comfortable here? Can I ask questions here? What if it didn't work?" And you're really creating this opportunity where practice takes place in a safe environment. So you can kind of try out all the different tools and resources to find the thing that works for you.
Yes, absolutely. I've been in groups before where it's like, intuition is treated like, sometimes it's welcomed and sometimes it's no, no, you just need to do the thing, just do the formula. And it's like, yeah, but my intuition's saying that's not how it works for me. And that's been a big piece of where I've claimed my own intuition, is like, no, my intuition is saying I need to do it for my design, for who I'm made in the world. And what's authentic and alignment for me is what's going to reap the bigger rewards, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right? What I'm curious about, if someone is listening and they're kind of thinking like, "Ooh, this is sounding interesting." Could you help them kind of understand what they can expect? Because it's a 6 week program. And so what can they expect from that time in the group? And, just kind of figuring out, is this for me? Am I ready for this?
Yeah. There's several things. I mean, one is if you're tired of accessing your intuition, playing with your intuition alone, and you really want to be in a community of it'll probably be mostly women, um, who are spiritual, and they're really committed to intuition and using intuition in their life, in their relationships and decision making in their business. So it's different than being in a group where it's just about business, right? This is like, no, we're really going to help you understand what's in alignment for you and what does it look like for you, because intuition is a very different experience. For we each have very individual bodies, and these are our instruments that we use for our intuition, and so it's very unique. And so one of the things that you can expect is that it will help you find your unique access and what it is like for you. And so that's going to be really really helpful for everybody, because it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. But we'll do a pre-questionnaire so that you can figure out, like, okay, just really check in. Where am I with my intuition right now? Some of the people that are already in the program are like, yeah, I'm highly intuitive, but I just went through this really big thing in my life and I got knocked off. I got kind of hijacked. So now where am I at? And other people are like, I'm really curious and I want to make it more real. And so that will help you. That pre-questionnaire will really help you. And then we're going to go in for 6 weeks. Every Tuesday, we will be checking in and learning a different skill. You'll learn something about yourself and your body. So we'll learn how to calm our nervous system down. We'll learn how to create a daily ritual practice so that you can get grounded, learn how to access and open up to this bigger current that is full of information, guidance, and wisdom. And then you'll practice that, right? You'll practice that.
I love that, right? And it really is that idea of trying it, the practice piece, which we covered, but then it's about making it your own, right? And saying, how does it feel for you? What is that like? And that opportunity to like play around without, no attachment to, I got to figure this out, but really like, what is your body telling you? What are you picking up on? And what are other people picking up on? Because you do have this group component to it.
Yes, yes. And I attract like really cool, creative, conscious women and some really wise men, entrepreneurs and leaders. And there is this element of they have a passion or purpose. They're doing their soul work and they want intuition to be a big part of how they grow we're going beyond use the formula and the blueprint. We're going beyond that. So how do you do that? So that's what we're going to be talking about.
So, Laura, one of the things that I think makes this program different from some of the other things that are out there is just that you're also bringing quantum human design to this. So, can you tell me a little bit more about what that is and how it's involved in this program?
Yes, I have fallen in love with quantum human design. It has changed my life. It's changing all of my clients' lives. I know you're way into it as well. And it's the idea that we each have an energetic map, like signature for how we were brought into this world. And that when we start realizing how we're uniquely designed, then it's like you can start realizing, oh, what is the ecosystem I actually need to create so that I can thrive and flourish? So you learn, like, what is the best way for you to work, to rest, to create, to play, to make decisions. And I'm so excited about bringing quantum human design together with how you access your intuition. To me, the two go hand in hand. That, like we were talking about, that not everybody accesses information in the same way and their wisdom and guidance in the same way. And so by knowing your natural design, all of a sudden you're not beating yourself up for not doing it a different way or running your business a different way or not moving faster as fast as somebody else or whatever it might be. It's like you understand your unique design and then your unique design for how you access your intuition. And I really think this is going to be life changing. So I'm super excited about bringing that in.
Yeah, right. And the connection to intuition. So it's like even if you're a little familiar with human design or even, pretty familiar with it, quantum human design kind of adds a whole other perspective to it and a different lens for it, but then also connecting it to intuition and what role intuition actually plays in living out your design. I imagine some people who are listening to this might be saying, I really like this, but how does this work with my business? And how does this help me kind of move forward in my creative projects? What would you say to them?
Oh my gosh. I access my guidance and wisdom all the time in my business. So some of the ways I do that is, I was thinking about it this last summer. I was invited to go to a retreat in Santa Fe, and there was a lot of different factors with it. And it was right before my son's wedding, and it was like, do I really want to do this? And so I really just sat with my intuition and then spoke what was coming up, to be figure out if I'm in alignment with this or not, and what was going on that had me question it, and what was going on that had me want to, that I was being pulled by it. So it really helps you in making decisions. And then once you make that decision, you're really aligned. So you don't have to go into second guessing, which is one of my favorite things to do after I make a decision. And so it has really helped me not waste so much energy and time in that second guessing. But I also use it. I use it every day. So I dialogue with the universe. I dialogue with my business, and I might dialogue with a project. And so, and as you know, we've done this a lot with your business. It's transformed your business and the way that you do things and your daily rituals. And I'll be teaching those throughout. So it's not just let's make a pro and con list about should I do this new program or not, if you should offer that, but it's we really listen. Where's the friction? Where is it not in alignment? Where is it in alignment? What's pulling you towards it? What needs to happen? Or what do you need to let go of? Like we'll go through a series um, of a ritual and some questions around that so that you've got these practices so that you can more fully access and start dialoguing with your own business, with your own projects. What this also does is it reinforces, like over time, it starts reinforcing your confidence, your conviction, your self-worth, your conviction in your soul work. And that, yeah, you're here for a reason and you are leading this movement. And whatever your movement is like, it can be a smaller movement, it can be a bigger movement, right? But that you're the one who's supposed to bring these gifts and help these people with this in the world. And so this helps you stay on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can definitely attest to that. The difference between making a decision kind of from that place of fear and the second guessing and the wondering versus making that decision from intuition. And you don't re-ask it. Like it's so
Right.
clear to you that even when, people might give you that look and be like, really? That you're just so confident in it. And that alone is like energy saving, as you said, confidence building, and it just allows you to really focus on what's most important, which is so nice because there's always so many different things, especially for people like us that like to be creative. There are so many things that can grab our attention, and just knowing, having that internal knowing really does help you to focus on what's most important for you in that moment.
It really does. It so does. And energy management, like, is so vital right now because it's like it is just so easy to go onto social media or walk through an airport on the way to somewhere exciting or on vacation and you see the news or catch glimpses of conversations. And we're just, even if you're not even on any of that, just the energy in the air, when you're highly sensitive, you pick up other people's energies. And so energy management's number one. So the more you can practice getting in alignment with your truth and what you're really about and knowing what you're here to do, then yeah, you don't leak energy everywhere, second guessing your decisions or second guessing, am I the one who's supposed to show up and do this and say this thing, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. So if someone's still watching or listening, they're clearly interested. What is kind of the next step for them in terms of figuring out if this is the right thing for them, and how do they get kind of a step closer to being part of the program?
Yeah. Well, I think there's two things. So I would recommend that you go to the website and we'll post the website and over at joyfulbusiness.com/WW, that stands for Whispers and Waves, um, and read through, the information page. And then really pay attention to your body. That's the second thing, because your body is this instrument and it's like, is it pulling you? You know, what are your signals, right? Is it pulling you forward? Is your heart expanding? Do you feel like you're in alignment with this? And if there's friction, friction doesn't always mean it's wrong. It just means something needs to be addressed or might need to be answered. So if you have questions about it, you can always email me, and I'm happy to answer questions about it to see if this is truly in alignment with where you're at right now. So those are the two things I would suggest, like
I
right
love
away.
that. Yeah, and using your intuition to help you make the decision. And I love that you bring up that just because there's friction doesn't mean it's a no. It means there's something more needed. There's
Yes.
something that's happening for you. And so getting curious about what that is. So,
Yes.
Laura, I would love for you, kind of just in summary, what is it that you think people need to be taking away when it comes to their understanding and their interest in this Whispers and Waves program?
Yeah. Um, to me, this is the way of the future. So again, you know, I don't want to beat this to death, but it is like it is really hard to be find your truth when you're looking outside of yourself. And so the more that you can practice and learn how to find your truth inside and to realize that we're not alone as entrepreneurs. A lot of times entrepreneurs can feel it's a lonely journey when you, especially the work at home, and we love that. And also it can be tough. But when you start realizing both you have this circle of, you know, this amazing community of other women who are like-minded, um, that will support you in running your business through, you know, with intuition will be huge. But you'll also start recognizing your wisdom team and your guides. We haven't really talked about that too much, but that you're never alone. You always have access to seen and unseen friends who can help you with the next step.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much for talking to me about this program. Anybody who's listening or watching, please go check out the website. It'll, have all the information that you might need. And of course, if you have any other questions, the contact to get in touch with Laura will be there as well. So thank you, Laura, so much for telling us about this program, and best of luck with the launch.
Thank you. And thank you so much for this conversation today. It was really fun.
It was awesome. Thank you.